On April 11th, 2025, at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I closed down my laptop for the last time. I was retired after 25 years of work, and I use retire in air quotes because that's what most people called it. I just called it leaving my W-2 job, but most people, the only way they can make sense of it was to call it retirement. Along the way, since then, over the last 2.5 weeks, I've been kind of documenting what I've been doing on a day-to-day basis and sort of loosely journaling, like the things that I've noticed and some things that have caught my attention along the way. So I came up with a list here of 13 items. I thought it'd be fun to go through them. Some of them might be a little bit obvious. Others might be unique to me, and then a couple of them might be a little bit strange. The last one especially, so stick around for that. Number one, people in a hurry. This is probably something that, this is definitely something that has been going on. This isn't anything new, but for whatever reason, the very first Monday after or in retirement, I was in mid-morning going to some trails for a bike ride, and I just started to notice that everyone was flying up behind me. I was driving the speed limit, and in some cases 5 miles over the speed limit, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, so it was well past rush hour. But for whatever reason, there was lots of people that just seemed to be wanting to get around me. And in a couple of instances, I did pull over and let people go around. So that was kind of strange, and I think that's probably the norm. For whatever reason, it just caught my attention that day, and it's something that I've kind of paid more attention to in the days since. Kind of along that same line, number two, enjoying chores and home projects more. So this is more specific to me, but I guess I'm one of those people now that, or I was that person that was always in a hurry. Here we are in April, the grass is growing like super fast. We get rain 3 or 4 days a week, it seems like, where I am. So I need to cut the grass like twice a week. And it has always been such a chore in the past. It was one of those things that I would have to fit in, and if things didn't line up right because I didn't have enough time after work, I would have to wait till the weekend, and then it's just like, it was one of those things I just hated doing. And I, all of a sudden here, now I've got time to mow the grass on a Tuesday morning or a Wednesday afternoon, really any time that the weather is nice and fits my schedule. So I've been able to slow down and take my time, not be in a hurry, not feel like I have to get it done in a certain like hour or 2 hour window. And I've been able to really enjoy that kind of chore. We'll see how long something like that lasts. Number three was a concern going into this retirement. When I worked for the job that I had, I was talking to people all day long, and I was concerned about the social aspect. So surprisingly, I've had plenty of social stuff since leaving my full-time job. I've been, the time of the year that it is, we've had Easter, so I've had Easter celebrations, had plenty of interactions with family and friends. I have had some social events in the evenings that I've attended. So that's something that actually has surprised me, is that I have not, it was, something that I worried about, that it would be something that I'm not getting enough social interaction, but it turns out that so far in the first 2.5 weeks, I've had no issues with that whatsoever. Number four is I am excited, but I'm not overly excited. And this is just probably my own personality, in that I don't typically get too excited about anything. Sometimes it drives my wife a little crazy, but I've noticed that I was super excited about getting to this date and getting into retirement, using it in air quotes again. And the very first day was very nice. It was exactly what I had in mind. I took a bike ride in the morning, and it felt great. And then I, just started having other things to do, life, plenty of things to do to keep me busy. So it was exciting, but not overly exciting. So it's just life. I'm just carrying on, I guess. Number five has been a little bit more exciting, I guess, for me personally, is that I've noticed that my back pain has been improving. So I've had some chronic issues with my lower back. I really think it is from just hours and hours of sitting every day. And since I have left full-time work, I've spent a minimal amount of time during the day sitting. I've actually been walking a lot more. I've been working out in the yard. I've always exercised every morning, but that was with the exception of some walks during the day when the weather was nice, that was the extent of my exercise. But now I'm busy, I'm active, I'm up walking around quite a bit, and I've really noticed that my back pain is still there, but it's starting to go away, and I'm hoping over another couple weeks or months that I don't even notice that anymore. Number 6, I've noticed that I'm okay with being bored, but I'm still drawn to productivity. So I can sit around, and like right now I can sit out on my patio here and I can just listen to the birds and enjoy the decent weather, even though it's probably going to rain here again very soon. But I'm okay with being bored, but at the same time, there's like in the back of my mind still like this thought that, hey, you probably need to be doing something. So it's kind of like a, angel on one shoulder, devil on the other. I'm still, I guess, processing and deciding what and determining what life is going to be like. I think that I'm always going to be the type of person that I struggle to sit still for very long, but there are periods of time where I'm okay with sitting still. Number 7 is less money worries. Leading up to the date whenever I was leaving full-time employment, I had a lot of anxiety about money. I was trying to make sure that did we have enough set aside for any kind of significant catastrophe that we could weather any storm. And I mean, I don't think there's any way to predict that, but I tried to get to that point and make sure that like all my I's were dotted, T's were crossed when it comes to finances. And I was constantly trying to look at what do our accounts look like and what direction are they going. I was tracking everything. And then I guess right around the last week and maybe into the first week, I started to notice that like I'm at this point now, like what does it matter? We'll just take it as it comes. It's not that, nothing is going to be that big of a deal. So I haven't really been worrying about how much money are we spending, what's our savings look like, is there any big expenses coming up. Again, only 2.5 weeks into this, we'll see how things change, but at the moment, I'm not worried about money. And then kind of connected to that, the stock market. This is number 8. The stock market was something that I was paying pretty close attention to, especially up through 2024. As we got into 2025 and things started to go a little bit sideways with the economy and everything that's going on with the stock market, I was paying a little less attention to it. But now I still peek, I would say, at least once a day and just kind of see what the trend is and which way are we going, up or down, and see what some of the headlines are as to why we're heading that way. But I noticed that I just kind of shake it off. It doesn't, where I previously, 2024 and earlier, I would see like a significant downturn and I would be like, it would almost cause like a sense of stress or panic. So it is what it is at this point. We're not in a drawdown situation, so I'm not worried about it. I have faith that it'll eventually continue to go up and to the right, so I'm not too worried about the stock market. Number 9 is a really big one. This is one that I started to notice after just a few days, and that's better sleep. I probably going back to some of the anxiety and the stresses of money and then also like just wrapping up things and calling it quits with the career. I was struggling with sleep, where I was waking up probably at least once a night and having thoughts about a variety of things. Sometimes it would be work related. Other times I really didn't understand why I was waking up. A lot of dreams, so I probably wasn't sleeping very soundly. But since I have left full-time work, maybe it's partly because I'm more active, I have been sleeping great. I sleep straight through the night, just pretty much every single night. I don't wake up at all. I wake up refreshed. I have not had any issues with sleep, and that has been awesome. Number 10 is the quietness of places. It's probably not very quiet out in my backyard right now because there's birds and all kinds of things making all kinds of commotion, but I have noticed that during the day, my subdivision is a lot more quiet because most people are at a traditional, have traditional employment and are at work during the day. Kids are in school. The subdivision is very quiet. And then when I've been out and I've been able to go to, whether it's to run an errand at a store or to go hiking or biking somewhere nearby when it's been in the middle of the day, there's very few people. It's just quiet, like everywhere. I've really noticed that, and I start to notice that whenever the neighbors start coming home from work, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and things get a little more, there's a little more noise in the neighborhood, and cars and kids and dogs come out, which is all fine, but it's something that I've definitely noticed, is that the world is a lot quieter during the day. Number 11 is I'm taking more breaks from mental and physical stuff. I think that during my working career, it was like all day long, it was go, 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 from whether it was one meeting to the next, trying to fit in emails, trying to have conversations with people, just a constant stresses and constant mental shifting. And I never really felt like I had much of a break. I would try to go for a walk and like clear my head, but I felt like I never really had the opportunity to do that very well. It would work for a short period of time, and then it would just be right back when I would get into the next meeting or call or whatever it would be. And what I've been able to do since I've stopped working is I've been able to do a lot more physical things, like working in the yard and getting some projects done around the house. And it's a lot less mentally tasking. Is that the right word? But in the past, I would work all day and then try to fit in things around the house in the evening, and I would be just like exhausted. And I never really understood why, but I think it was because I'd spent the majority of the day in mental overload, and then I didn't have the energy to be able to do that physical thing. So that's kind of number 12, is more energy for physical stuff. I've been able to do a lot of projects around the house, and I've had plenty of physical energy. Probably falls in line with the better sleep as well. But that has been something that I was actually a little bit worried about, because I'm 48. I'm starting to notice that I just don't really have the energy to just go, go, go like I used to. And I was really kind of worried that I would get into this time in my life where I didn't have the work, and now I also don't have the energy. But I think that is no longer the case. I think it was a lot of the mental clutter that was just the stresses of having a job and things associated with that were really exhausting me and keeping me from doing those physical things in the evenings. The last one, number 13, is kind of strange, but it is something that I've definitely noticed, and that's that I shower later in the day. One of the things that I always struggled with was I would shower in the morning before work, and then throughout the day I would either take a walk or try to do something physical in the evening, such as take care of yard work or work around the house. And I would always have to take a second shower, or I'd be like in that in-between state where, should I take a shower? Should I not take a shower? Now I just wake up and I go through my day, and I usually don't need to take a shower until towards the end of the day or before dinner. And that has been something that I've really come to, I guess, kind of appreciate in a weird way, is that I don't have to worry. It's like one less thing to worry about, is taking multiple showers a day or worrying about whether or not I need to take a second shower in the day. So anyway, that's my list of 13 things that I've noticed so far over the first 2.5 weeks of retirement. I would love to have your input and feedback if you think that any of these have hit home, or if there are things that are on your mind as you're nearing retirement, or if you're post-retirement, if there's anything that you have, any odd things that you've noticed that you didn't think would be a part of your life and have become a part of your life. So anyway, my name is Josh, and thanks for watching.